Bonjour, France! Bonjour! We are in France. Yesterday we left from Bournemouth, drove to Dover and got the ferry 1 hour and a half over to Calais. We went to Dieppe yesterday for the afternoon and checked out this massive castle on top of the hill, and that was very beautiful.
Dieppe is a quaint fishing port on the coast of northern France. It's famous for that castle on the hill, otherwise known as Chateau de Dieppe. Inside there is a museum and a gallery. It's also famous for its Norman buildings, beaches and memorials from the Second World War. It's the first big town we came to from Calais and it's definitely worth a visit.
So yeah, we really wanted to check out Normandy for all of the architecture and the history. So we did. I just wanted Martha, she was like, we're going here. All right, cool, so I drove. We tried to find a camping spot, but the campsite was full, so then we stayed in an air de camping in Uffay. And I thoroughly recommend staying there. It's a very quaint little village, very quiet. We actually ended up staying next to a train track near a train station, but it was very quiet, so there was no need to worry about that. This is where we stayed last night. Beds were very comfortable, but the breakfast was 1 out of 10. We didn't really, it was too expensive. And after staying in our lovely little camp spot, we woke up at 7 and headed to Rennes. I don't know that's how you say it. After driving around for about an hour trying to find parking, because it was very confusing, which turns out is not actually that confusing. You can park on the street as long as you pay. Some places were only up to 2 hours. Anyway, we found somewhere to stay for 4 hours, and now we're having a little walk around Rennes. It's very beautiful. It's the Normandy capital, and it's famous for its big cathedral where Claude Monet got some inspiration.
He was the founder of Impressionism painting and created this piece, Rennes Cathedral Facade. Rennes is the capital of Normandy. It is a port city on the River Seine, important in the Roman era and Middle Ages. It has Gothic churches such as Saint Maclou and Saint Ouen, and has a lovely cobblestone pedestrian centre with medieval half-timbered houses.
It feels very city-like. There's a lot of people around, there's a lot of stuff going on. So for a big city, which doesn't feel like a city, I definitely recommend coming here. We've had a gorgeous pastry this morning. We had a little bit of a hunt around, but found this amazing place, which I'll show you. And we had pistachio. I know so many languages. I know a little bit of 3 languages, and I don't know any of them well, so I speak a little bit of everything, which is thoroughly confusing to everyone involved. Anyway, we managed to order a coffee and a pastry. Delicious! And I'm so excited to try more delicious French food in France. La première tarte aux pommes. Magnifique.
Battery.
Good amount of crisp apple and the appley sauce. It's so good.
We found a few secret walkways with beautiful tucked away gardens. And right in the centre there's a crazy looking church with an incredible looking market.
We had a little search on our apps and maps, and we found this place just by googling the camping car, and we had no idea what it was going to look like. In the picture on Google it looked like it was a circus. There was a circus tent and that was it. And we just thought, do you know what, let's go. And we've managed to come across the most gorgeous little village that I think we've ever seen in our lives. And I can't wait to show you all what it looks like. We've got our best outfits on. We're in a little field with a load of other vans, but we're just tucked away in the corner quite nicely. And this is our view for the night. It's unbelievable. And I want to have a little bit of a reality check because it's not all been smooth sailing. Neither of us, I think, cope particularly well when it comes to not having plans. So we're trying to plan without trying to plan. We haven't really booked anywhere. We're just winging it, which has been a challenge. A couple of the places that we've wanted to camp have been full, so it has been a little bit frustrating, but we did go in the sea today and I feel like that's just cleansed us a little bit of our worries and our stink. Our van is not really set up for wild camping, particularly, especially if it's more than one night. Like, we've literally just bought a bucket to use as our toilet, which neither of us have used yet because that is a last resort. But we don't have a toilet, basically. We don't have a fridge. We can't stand up in the van. It's a little bit rustic, and that is fine for us because that is what we have. If you want a proper tour, I can do another video on that. This the camping is actually €10 a night, which I still think is a bargain considering where it is. Absolutely stunning. So there's actually a little sign, and I thought to check it as we were leaving to go for dinner, and it says that there's a charge and to go to the pretty shop in the centre of Lille to pay. So I've just got my ticket. I need to go and put it back in the windscreen. So €10.
Beauvoir-en-Rouge is one of the most beautiful villages we've ever seen. It's in the heart of the Calvados department, famous for its apple orchards, half-timbered houses and local produce. We just had to try a cider here.
Is it good?
Très bon.
Morning!
Bonjour.
We are on day
25.
We've not slept for 3 days. Feeling fresh.
No, so apologies for the way we look today.
At least we've brushed our teeth this morning. It's the first morning where we've actually brushed our teeth in the morning, which, it feels so good.
And it sounds absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Today we're in Caen.
Caen is the port, city and capital of the Calvados department in the Normandy region. Its centre features the Château de Caen, a circa 1060 castle built by William the Conqueror. It stands on a hill, and from there you can see the abbeys Saint-Etienne, also known as Abbey aux Hommes, the men's abbey, and Sainte Trinité, Abbey aux Dames, the women's one, for his wife Matilda.
I think I really need some vegetables in my life. We've been indulging in some delicious pastries, obviously, because that's why we're here. But I think it's time for some veggies and fibre.
We need a bit of fibre and something green, maybe. Yeah. They're not mad on vegetables here in France, apparently.
We had a look in the Abbey aux Dames, but we couldn't be bothered with the men's one.
A little update for you. We got to this place last night called Courseulles-sur-Mer. Yeah, my French isn't getting any better on this trip, unfortunately. Anyway, I was so happy we found this aire de camping, and there was a spot for us. It was full of other campers, but there was a spot, so we got in there. It's literally 200 metres from the beach, and the weather's been so nice. We've really wanted to stay as close to the beach as possible so we could have a nice beach day. And we thought last night, maybe we could spend 2 nights here because the weather's due to be really sunny. So I was just absolutely buzzing that we'd found somewhere to stay like this. So we had a beautiful day at the beach today. Went in the sea lots, very relaxed. Booked dinner tonight. We booked it last night because it was full last night. Anyway, so going to this lovely place for dinner tonight. We went back to the van to have a glass of wine and just relax for a little bit before going to dinner. And the police showed up, which was exciting. Not really. I shit myself. Yeah, so it's been a little bit stressful with finding places to stay and knowing where to go and not really having a plan. It's been a little bit stressful, but I did finally feel less stressed yesterday when we found this place. And here we are again, getting booted out of the camping car, because we are a car and not a camping car, apparently. So just a note for anyone planning on doing this in the future, if you have a van, you're not allowed in the air the camping car, apparently. We've been fine up until now because it's not been busy, so we've not had to worry about it. But I think especially if you go somewhere that's really busy, near the beach or a city or something, you might get told to move because we're technically a van or a car, not a motorhome. We've now found a spot and this is our beautiful view for tonight. Hopefully we won't get kicked out of this place.
We shall find out.
Find out, but bottoms up anyway. After getting booted out of the camping, we decided to spend a couple of days on the beach because the weather was so beautiful and we were on holiday. We thought that we'd try and relax for a couple of days. So we had a lovely couple of beach days and we did try a couple of different beaches. That was wonderful. Getting into the sea was great because obviously being in a van, we didn't have a lot of options to wash. So just getting in the sea felt like such a relief and just so refreshing and beautiful. So we really appreciated how good the weather was for this trip. We were very, very lucky. It was pretty windy though, but luckily we did bring our beach umbrella with us because I am a little English flower and I need the shade. But it also worked quite well as a wind protector because we noticed on all of the days, if it wasn't already windy when we were there, the wind picked up throughout the day and it was pretty strong. There's also, there were some toilet blocks in certain places along the beach, but there was not a lot of options and there was only one shower that we could use, and you weren't allowed to use like shampoo and stuff because I'm assuming it all drains into the sea. So another note, if you are planning on kind of going a bit wild and a bit rough like us, it was a sea wash that we had to do. That was fine. And something that we totally didn't realise, because when we got to the beach, the tide was in quite like just the water was there. So great. And then we noticed throughout the day, it went so far out, which I think I took a video of and I'll show you. But if you get there at the wrong time, expect a very long walk out to the ocean, and also don't put your towels where the sand is wet, which might seem obvious, might not seem obvious. The tide does come in a lot, so I don't know if it's the time of year or whatever, but I'm pretty sure this is just how it is. Extreme tides, very low, very high. Anyway, we decided, because we were quite close to Bayeux at this point, I really wanted to go there to see this tapestry. But because the weather has been so nice and hot, it was supposed to be 30 degrees when we planned to go there. So we got up really early to go see the tapestry and also a cathedral, a very Gothic style cathedral called the Notre Dame, which expect to see a few Notre Dame churches and cathedrals whilst you're here. It's a very popular name. Which was insane because we went there nice and early, so it was quite quiet and the sun was rising, and Bayeux itself is stunning. It was one of my favourite places that we went to. The buildings and yeah, beautiful. Although this might not surprise you, or it might do, I'm not actually religious, but I can truly appreciate the beautiful and stunning architecture of all the churches and cathedrals. The detail in them is just insane. The carvings, it just blows your mind how they did that and how long it must have taken. So there's a lot of churches, but in my opinion, they are definitely worth visiting. After seeing Bayeux in 30-degree heat, we thought it might be quite a nice idea to stop off at the beach on our way to our final destination. I think Marta just kind of randomly picked a beach, and I think it was our favourite beach of the whole trip. It was quite quiet, and then we had these like big Norman houses just like plonked along the beach, and it was, yeah, lovely, a perfect way to end our beach and sea dipping experience. Luckily, and thank you to Marta, we actually came up with the idea of spending the last 2 nights of our trip in a place with a toilet and running water and a bed and a shower, because we thought we might have had enough after 5 nights in a van. Beautiful, we got to see many different places, which was awesome. But it is nice just to have a bit of a base and somewhere to wash your hands and clean and sleep. And we decided to do that in Honfleur. And I'm so glad we did, because this place is incredible. I can't believe it. I feel like I'm in a movie scene or something. I feel like I've gone back in time, and all of the buildings are beautiful. There's cobbled streets. They're really close together. And Marta actually said to me that it really reminded us of a place that we went to in Cornwall called Megavissi. And I mean, this might be slightly better, but it's so cute. It's a lovely fishing sort of village. There's a port, and just the amount of art galleries. It's really blown my mind, the expectations that I have of this place coming in and what it is. And I can't wait to explore it further today, because we have all day here today. Where's been your favourite place on this trip?
Honfleur is definitely still in my heart. I feel very inspired creatively by it. There's so much art and just the views. It feels like being in a painting. It's very lively. So maybe Honfleur for that. But also I loved Beuvron-Nuage, I'm probably not saying these correctly, which is this little tiny rural village that we stayed in for 1 night, and that was just so like quintessentially Normandy like. So yeah, I really love that.
That was really like going back in time.
Yeah.
And I was expecting people to come out with little pointy hats and shoes that they'd made themselves, and
yeah.
And then you see cars, like new cars, they seem totally out of place.
Yeah, it was absolutely stunning. Yeah, we're just approaching the Jardin Public. I don't know if that's how you say it, and that's going to be a recurring theme in this vlog, I assume.
This really feels like home. I'm glad we're spending the most amount of time here, but I really enjoyed Rouen for city, Rouen,
yeah.
For kind of the city. That was the nicest, biggest place that we went to. I really enjoyed that, even though we might be getting a fine for not having the certificate. That's one of the cities in France where you need to have like a sticker and paper sticker, like in London, the congestion zone.
Yes.
which we didn't get beforehand, we didn't know about, so we might or may not be getting fined. I will be making another video on tips and things that we've learnt from this trip, and recommendations of what to do and what not to do. Something else that we've noticed from going to all of these little towns across Normandy is that there's a lot of war memorabilia and posters and drawings, pictures, guns, tanks.
Yeah, it's a bit commercialized. I don't know whether you are into that, and it's something obviously that you want to consider maybe coming to Normandy. Just know that there are some places that are more heavily about that, and Honfleur is definitely not one of them. And again, something to consider. I know that some people feel very strongly about that, and
Remembering.
yeah, and I think there's a fine line between remembering and glorifying, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, and it's, yeah, remembering those who sacrificed their lives, but as you say, the fine line between glorifying it and then making money from it.
And not just that, also making sure that everyone is remembered, and it's not about so many lives have been lost, and I think to just want to, I suppose, celebrate or remember one side of things is just kind of reiterating the separation and division and the need for a winner and a loser, and
Who's good and who's bad.
Power and exactly, and failure and all of that. And I think it shouldn't be about that. So if we do remember, I think we need to just remember how shit war is. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say shit. There was actually a piece of art in Arrow-Manche that I took, a piece of graffiti which was beautiful, about love and peace, not war, which I found quite nice to have it in one of the most decorated war towns that we visited.
Yeah.
So to remember that as well.
Yeah. Aside from that, there's loads of ice cream everywhere.
Yes.
And ice cream in French is
glace.
Oh oui. Very nice, delicious, yum yum yum. And if I say so myself, being Italian, obsessed with gelato, then you can take my word for it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed the different style. Please let us know, or just give us a thumbs up if you did. Here's a final look at some of the delicious food we had. Thanks, and see you next time.